Hello and you're very welcome to a pre-recorded interview here on Loose Men. I'm delighted to be joined by one of the leading cast of Legally Blonde that's happening all week this week in UCD. It is the lovely Sarah Egan. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Good. Now, you're fresh after coming off from the world premiere of Legally Blonde last night. How did it go?
It was fantastic, actually. It was a really good night. It was a big success. We were quite happy with it. We got a lovely standing ovation at the end, which made us all really proud.
That's always a good sign. I'm going to delve into your background in musicals and stage acting because we're running a bit of a theme this semester. It's called Loose Men, Attack of the Hormones, where we have a female guest. We ask them their story and whatever. And we had a very successful last week interview with Emer O'Hara, who talked about feminism in UC 200. A little bit more lighthearted this week, where we're delving into the musical life, I suppose you could say. So where did it all start? Have you been doing this kind of stage acting for quite a while?
Yeah, so I guess I started quite young. I grew up in the States, so we did it there when we were younger in California, and then when we got back to Ireland, my parents were trying to get us as involved in life here as possible to get us over the fact that we just made a big move, so they sent us off to Stagecoach in Blackrock, and I guess it really started, and I just started doing all these shows every semester in Stagecoach and did a few in the Olympia and the Helix, and I've always enjoyed it, and it's always been a great experience. Are
you studying anything like drama in college, or are you doing something totally different?
No, I'm not. I'm actually studying medicine.
Oh.
So this is kind of just a hobby that I love doing, and it's really enjoyable.
Obviously, medicine and drama, two totally different fields. Would you consider this as something you'd like to do, when you finish your degree, or are you kind of thinking, I'll stick to it in my spare time?
I guess it's always kind of been the dream. Medicine has, drama has, but medicine happened along the way, I guess. I'd love to pursue musical theatre and drama in my spare time. I really want to be a doctor though, and I love helping people. So that's really
there you go. So I suppose you can have the best of both worlds.
Yeah, that's the hope, anyways.
I'm studying law at the moment, and I kind of feel terrible that I haven't seen Legally Blonde. I just want to know, what's your most cringeworthy role in your past? Because I'm sure you've had a couple of questionable plays and stuff.
Yeah, I guess I have had a few questionable roles. One thing that really stands out to me, not so much a cringeworthy role, I went to school in Mount Anville, secondary school, and for our fourth year show we did Hairspray, and I was playing Velma Von Tussle. She's, the really nasty producer of the studio. It was a great role, but anyways, I think it was our third night, we go on to sing You Can't Stop the Beat, and I was running on for my solo line with the girl who was playing my daughter, and I tripped over the speaker and fell flat on my face on the stage, and the whole audience just jumped up laughing and screaming, and it was just the best thing I think people had seen in that hall in a while. So I still to this day get reminded of it and don't get to live it down. It's very cringy.
I suppose you kind of need that sort of humbling experience
definitely.
in your career. It can't always be at the top. Do you still get nervous about plays? I know you've been doing it quite a while. Do you still get quite nervous?
Yeah, I do. Actually, Legally Blonde, I haven't actually been on stage since first year. I'm in third year now. So the last show I did was Producers of Musical Sock in summer of first year, and this is the first time I've been on stage since, because I was just really involved in the production side of things last year. And last night I was really nervous, but I feel like having nerves is like conducive to performing even better on stage. So I think it almost worked in everyone's favour to have a little bit of butterflies before going on.
Exactly, and I suppose this will be your second run of it, so hopefully it'll be a little bit less, but you'll always get that kind of feeling before you go on. Also, I did a bit of background research, and I was talking to you a little bit before, in brackets, Facebook creeping, and you have been involved with musical stock in the past. How does Legally Blonde fare to the different musicals? Was there any new challenges you had to face as a society, or?
Oh my God, yes. I mean, it's a whole other scale. They brought it to O'Reilly Hall. Usually the shows happen in Astor Hall, which is a much smaller space, a different style of space as well. Whereas O'Reilly Hall is huge. These huge stages to come in. We've huge sets. Different level of advertisement happened. I mean, the PR this year has just been amazing in terms of them getting everyone to come see the show. I think last night was the biggest opening night Musical Socks ever had, with over 440 tickets sold or something.
Wow.
So it's been a whole other mountain to climb. But they've done it beautifully, and it's worked out really well.
Excellent. And I'm a little bit superstitious, and we obviously did have our welcoming ceremony in that O'Reilly Hall, and I said to myself I would never go back to O'Reilly Hall until I graduated, because I had no excuse to. You know what I mean? So now I might have to break that promise I made to myself.
Yeah, definitely.
and it's massive, it's absolutely massive, a great building and venue to have the musical on it. Now it's on tonight at 7:30. How can people get tickets? I see they can get it on the website and at the stand in the student centre.
Yeah, and then you can also reserve them actually by emailing musical@ucd.ie. It's fantastic. They brought on online ticket sales this year and it's working out really, really, really well. So I guess get them online, get them at the stand, which I think is being set up at the moment, and you can email either to get them. So
fantastic.
yeah.
Now, before we let you go anyway, I want to delve a bit into actually Legally Blonde, the plot, your character. You're playing Vivian Kensington, and from what I'm reading here and looking at the background of the musical, she's kind of like the enemy of the leading role, Elle. Is that true?
Yeah, in a way it is. Yeah, she is. I guess for anyone who doesn't know the show, Elle is this sorority girl who lives in Malibu and goes off to follow her boyfriend to Harvard. He decides that she's not serious enough for him, and he's like, I want a more serious woman. And of course, along the way, he finds me, who is this really strong feminist, really strong-willed, a little bit prejudiced towards Elle. I mean, I feel like Vivian's had to work a lot in her life to get where she is, and she sees Elle as this girl who's kind of walking in covered in pink, just kind of ruining it for the other girls around her. And Vivian decides that she doesn't like her and she has a bone to pick with her and she wants to put her back in her place and send her on her way home. And I guess she's a little bit jealous of her as well with Werner, because Elle's this beautiful girl who kind of is something Vivian's always hated her whole life, and she decides, no, Elle's not going to do it.
And what has it been like playing Vivian? Has it been reflective? Any characteristics of Vivian have been reflective on your personal life?
I don't know. I guess Vivian she starts off quite nasty in the play, and she does turn around. I wouldn't consider myself a very nasty person, but I do see some things where she's coming from in terms of a woman in a career who's trying to work really hard to get where she needs to be. She knows what she wants. She's determined. She is going to get it no matter what. And I feel like some of those qualities I kind of see in myself a little bit as well. Like, I'd be quite determined, and I like working hard to get things that I want to get, and just different things like that. But definitely the nasty side that comes out of her, I would like to think that I don't reflect in my day-to-day living.
Will not hold anything against you. Now, before you delve into a musical, or you're offered a role in some sort of stage performance, do you look for a correlation between your personality and that certain role, or do you like kind of going out of your comfort zone?
I guess it's really both. It's really interesting to go outside of your comfort zone, but before I feel that you can do that, you kind of look at you look at the musical as a whole, and you decide which part sticks out to me most, and then you're like, okay, I'm going to audition for that role, or those 2 roles, or those 3 roles, see what the production team likes in me, and then it really depends. It's every role, I feel myself, is a step out of your comfort zone, because you're really doing everything a little bit more 10% over the top on the stage in front of a huge audience who are watching your every move. So it's really, it's quite an interesting process. But once you get the role, it's working with the director to pull it out and step outside your zone that really makes it really rewarding. Yeah,
and I guess you can kind of give a comparison between kind of your stage roles rather than your personal roles, as in they kind of think, well, I've played that before. And looking at Vivian, she's the enemy, she's the villain. Have you, been accustomed to that role in previous musicals or plays?
Yeah, there's a thing called typecasting in musical theatre, and I think it might be the fact that I'm nearly I'm 5'11" or something. So I think it's a tall presence that always gets the evil role, or maybe it's just that I'm naturally a really evil person. But I have been typecast quite a lot as the bad person. I don't think I've ever played the lovely lead who's just nice and preppy or fun and gets the guy. I'm always the mean stepmom or sister or arch enemy or something.
Well, at least there's a niche for that.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Now, am I right to be under the impression that Musical Stock organised 2 musicals over the year, so 1 per semester, because obviously a lot of prep has to go into it. How long have you been prepping for Legally Blonde?
Legally Blonde actually has been a bit different. Usually Musical Stock does a show in November and then a show then in semester 2 in April, and they kind of happen within those semesters, whereas This year they did Jekyll and Hyde in November, and the week after Jekyll and Hyde auditions, which happened back in September, start of October, excuse me if I'm wrong, and the week after we then had the Legally Blonde auditions, because the show is happening earlier, it's happening in February. So we've been doing this since the start of October. We've been in rehearsals, and we had a lovely break around November and exams for ourselves, and then we were actually in over the break for 2.5 weeks, 3 weeks in boot camp up in the Fitzgerald Chamber in Astor Hall, and just running things. So we've actually put a lot of time into this. It's a bit like crazy. I think we were all in shock last night. We were getting a lovely pre-show talk by our wonderful director Amy before the show, and I think everyone was kind of like, oh my god, wait, this is happening now. Like, we've been at this for so long.
That's crazy. That's the best part of like 4 months prep. Jekyll and Hyde and Legally Blonde obviously happened, near enough the same time. You were saying the auditions were within a week of each other. Was there any people in both, or did you kind of separate both casts?
No, there were actually there were a good few people in both. One of our leading guys, Dara McCardle, he's playing Warner in this show. He was actually in Jekyll and Hyde as well, and there were many other crossovers between the cast. I guess these people, people have a lot of time, I guess, that they want to commit to it, so they were able to do both.
Good
so,
stuff.
Yeah, they were able to work around each other and stuff, so it was great.
That's good. The prep can sometimes be the best element of it, because you're there with your friends, you're there week in, week out, and like you said, a 2.5 week boot camp. Have you felt you've came very close together as a group?
Yeah, it's actually, we're really lucky with this group. I feel like obviously we had rehearsals spread out over the time period before boot camp, but during boot camp I think everyone kind of just came together, and it's a really well gelled group. Everyone's really good friends, and we're all getting along great, and we all share one big communal dressing room upstairs. It's just a bit of crack, and then we go downstairs, and it's really great. The cast is lovely, and definitely friendships have gotten stronger, and it's fantastic.
Good stuff. Well, the musical will be running from today the 16th until the 20th of February. There'll be evening shows on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday and Friday, am I right? Starting at 7:30.
And Saturday as well. Yeah.
And there's an evening show on Saturday, and there's a matinee show as well on Saturday. Doors open for that at 1:45. So tickets are priced at €20 for adults and €15 for students, children and OAPs. The matinee costs €15 and €10 respectively, so you have no excuse not to get down to Legally Blonde in O'Reilly Hall of all places. Wow, what a venue. I'm very, very impressed with that, and all the work that is put in. 4 or 5 months in for this. You have to get on down there and catch it. So thanks a million, Sarah, for coming on. We will see you probably on stage next. Excellent. If you would like to find us on social media, you can find us on Facebook, facebook.com/loosemen. We are now also on Twitter at loosemen_. If you want to contact us during the show, you can contact us via the Contact the Studio tab on the homepage of the BelfieldFM.ie website.